Hello everybody, my name is Zelfie, and I am the captain of the HYDREIGONS, here we go. And yeah, this is the final week before playoffs for the TCL, and just note, I am already going to be making the playoffs, so yay, more content. But that's not important. What's important is that I'm facing Green, and this is kind of a heavy build-up match, because Green has gone undefeated so far in the entire league. In fact, he might be the only person that is still undefeated. I'm pretty sure he was, right? So this is like, this is a match that I think a lot of people are hyped for, and I was pretty excited for it too, because he's kind of put on this expectation that he's gonna put up a good fight and it's gonna be a great battle, right? So I'm gonna go over my team real quick. We have Garchomp, Melmetal, Blissey, Slowbro, Volcarona, Mandibuzz, Chronoc, who got swapped in for Kelio that we gave to somebody else, Aerodactyl, Xurkitree, Gorsla, and Diancie. That is our lineup. And then we have Green up here. Now, Green has a nasty lineup. He has Heatran, Rapid Strike Urshifu, which is the water type one, Latios, Thunder T, Scolipede, Necrozma, Hippowdon, Ditto, Zoroark, Sylveon, Moltres. And right off the bat, his team, not only like our first four picks like straight power, like you can bring this to like almost any single team, and it's gonna scare the opponent, right? But you also gotta consider some of the secondary things he has going on. Like first off, he has Scolipede, great hazards for spikes if he ever wants to go that route. He has Ditto and Zoroark, so if Zoroark's on the team, then that's scary. And Ditto is just like one of the Pokemon that you have to play around the hardest out of like probably this entire league. I know there's a lot of dumb Pokemon in this league, but like Ditto's one of this mod, so it's like, hey, if you screw up one bit, then that Ditto will punish you for it. And oh, I didn't even mention he has Moltres too. He somehow got this off of somebody else, I believe. I don't even remember who had original Moltres actually. But yeah, Green has Moltres now. And like, like Hippowdon's like one of the better bulky ground types. I believe he had Runerigus before this. In fact, he might have Runerigus in our match too. Yeah, so you just got the Hippowdon. The Necrozma, that can set up in 50 different ways. Like, it must be a Stealth Rocker, which is a second type, which is cool. And then Sylveon's fine. Sylveon's probably the weakest mon. Actually, Zoroark's probably the weakest mon, but like, his team is by and far one of the single scariest lineups in this entire league. So, there was a lot to consider here. And I'm just gonna talk about my team right here. So I brought Melmetal. I bring Melmetal every week. I was thinking about, do I want to run with the Trick-Room again? Maybe I could, like, squeeze it in. And I think that would have been a horrible idea, but I didn't want to repeat the strategy, especially since I just pulled it off last week, and I didn't want to become too predictable, right? On top of that, there's also an issue with Moltres, and one of the reasons why Moltres is a problem, and one of the reasons why I'm Randy Choice fan, is that the only way that I can OHKO this is with Rock Slide, and I don't want to even touch this thing with Double Iron Bash, and that's because it can have Flame Body, and that can burn me, and that would ruin the whole Trick-Room game plan, right? So, that was one of the things that's prevented me from going Trick-Room, was like the third Moltres. Like, he knows that I bring Melmetal every single week, so I was expecting Moltres. So, there's that. I brought Mandibuzz. I also thought Mandibuzz is pretty mandatory. It helps to check the Psychics, or the Psychic type over here. It helped to check Latios as well. I was running Spinef, Zoroark, just a bunch of things. I also ran Whirlwind because there's been a lot of crazy mods trying to set up in my face this entire league, and I don't think Green is one of those players that absolutely needs to find a wacky setup mod. But I just brought it in case, like, Nasty Plot Zoroark is a thing, maybe it was some type of setup Necrozma set, even if it was just Calm Mind Latios, like, Whirlwind would have been fine. That's why I brought it. Although, considerations should have been made to my other members, I'll talk about soon. Defog would have been really helpful for getting rid of hazards, as mostly because I have an Enduremon and a Sashmon, so, hindsight is hindsight, so, whoops. Give me this one. That is bothering me. It is slightly off center. There we go. There we go. I also brought Slowbro, because I'm like, okay, I want some, well, one of the reasons why I also brought Mandibuzz is for U-turn. That gives me momentum for Melmetal, so I can click some moves. Slowbro also fulfills a similar purpose, and that allows me to teleport out on a bunch of mods. It also gives me a very fun check the Urshifu, in case it was banded. yeah, so pretty standard set here. I didn't change anything. I also wasn't running defog on this, so I put boots on here. Some sort of hypocritical thinking, I guess. I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna bring defog this week, so I'll bring boots Slowbro. And I proceed to bring two mods that have things that would benefit from defog. Oh well. I'll sprint Circuitry. Now, Circuitry was a sketchy pick. And one of the reasons Circuitry is sketchy is because Ditto. Ditto will copy Beast Boost, it would have a Choice Scarf, and then it could potentially outsweep me. Like, especially if it ever clicks Dazzling Gleam, my team is just weak enough, or Melmetal is gone, something like that, right? So, Circuitry was a sketchy choice, but I'm like, okay, if I know I can pressure Thundy. I have so many ways to pressure Thundy. Outside of that, I can also, maybe hit Hippo, or bait in Hippo. I have a few mods that help to do that. So, you know, if I get rid of those two mods, then I get the click Volt Switch for free. And that was my thought process, right? So I just brought this. In case you didn't bring Ditto, that would have been extremely cool. But I was 100% certain Ditto was coming. He also has Garchomp. I also have Garchomp. One of the reasons why I'm running this set is because if he ever clicks Surging Strikes, then Endure is right here, and he's gonna kill himself. Rocky Helmet, rough skin damage. This is a set that I really like. I think it's just like, it's probably been around a few times in previous gens, but I've only seen it pick up in this gen. Maybe I'm lying, who knows. But yeah, I don't know. This set's pretty cool. I'm just running max speed, max HP. I could have also considered Stone Edge for Thundy. Helps to give Circuitry like more leverage. Well, like, I'm probably fine regardless. And finally, we have Grana, and I'm running Swords Dance, Crabhammer knockoff, Aqua Jet. Swords Dance was just like just in case I ever get to a scenario where there's no Ditto, and I can probably beat everything with Aqua Jet. Like, Ditto, Urshifu, Latios are removed, and then the remaining mods just get blown out by Aqua Jet. That was at least my thought process, right? I also just liked having Sash to help me revenge kill things. For example, if I get his full health versus a lot of his mods, then I can just easily trade with it. And that was something that struck well with me, at least. And so that's the team I brought. And we are just going to go ahead and get right with the replay. Hold on, let me switch sides. Cool. So, turn 1, I lead Chomper. And one of the reasons why I lead Chomper is because I'm like, okay, I don't always got to lead, but I definitely want Rocks up. So he goes for CC. And one of my first instincts to do here is probably read that this was choice banned, but unfortunately I was pretty dumb, and I should have like realized that maybe a couple turns. Like, I realized that a couple turns too late. I'm like, oh, I need to go for Endure here because it's gonna go for Aqua Jet. Like, that was my thought process, right? And this is just narrow-minded thinking here because I go for Endure, and I didn't really need to do this. And my next play also is going to the context that I still don't realize that he's choice banned, so I go into Slowbro here, when I could have easily just killed this mob. Like, is there any reason for me to swap out there? No, not really. If I just realized that was choice banned, then this fight would have gone a whole lot differently. I go into Chomper here because I'm like, oh, well, it's whatever. I don't think Thundy can do too much can't do too much to me, so this is fine, it's whatever. And I drop a Draco here. I'm like, cool, get some damage on that. Rodriguez comes out. Oh, and by the way, this is pretty much the team I expected, except I expected Moltres over Rodriguez. So I was pretty spot on with what I thought he was going to bring. Anyways, I go into Crab here because I'm like, okay, I can threaten this, rocks are going to come out, and my Sash will be broken. I want to make sure I get some usage out of this. I go for Crabhammer because I think it'd do the most damage to all of his mods if they try to swap in. Like, I could go for knockoff here on a Latias swap possibly, or remove the Urshifu's item, whatever. I did it, so oops. And now Thundy comes out. This is pretty good for me. So I go for Crabhammer here, and he goes for Thunderbolt, realizes that I'm Sash, and I get the pick off with Aqua Jet. And this is good for me because now I don't have anything to stop me from clicking Volt Switch. As you can tell, both his swaps are gone. Outside of this can still swap into it, but I can't really like predict that just because this bastard exists and my Garchomp is super low. Anyways, Mandy comes out. I believe I go for a U-turn here. It's like, okay, between Foul Blade and U-turn, I don't really care what he goes for because he doesn't want to take damage on his Lottie. And I go Zerk here. I think I just go for a Volt Switch. Yeah. And I take the time to go to Slowbro because I'm like, okay, this is absolutely free. Nothing bad could ever happen out of this. So that happens. He protects. I go for Future Sight just because I want to apply some pressure to anything that wants to come out here. I was like really hoping that a Ditto comes out eventually and has to take some Future Sight damage. That was what I was really praying for. Anyways, I go for Scald because I'm like, okay, if in this scenario I can Scald and whatever comes up next I can swap into, and he has to like play around doubles and Future Sight at the same time, which is a lot of pressure. So I figured Scald was the best thing to do right here. Even then, I could go ahead and teleport out on any move and just think about what I want to bring in next. I bring in Circuitry, and he still takes Future Sight damage even if he protects. I go for Volt Switch again, doesn't kill it. I go back into Slimmer because no reason not to, right? And it's just sort of the same Song and Dance. I'm taking chip damage on my Circuitry. He actually pulls a double here. Oh no! Wait, I thought I went for Protect here. Never mind. I got for Scald because I just want the Heat Train dead. I didn't want to take more damage on the Circuitry. My bad call. I stay in because I'm like, okay, he might predict something to come in here, and he just drops Draco, which is a bit unfortunate. It happens. Like, I don't have too much else to say there. I didn't have a lot of great switches just because I was choice banned at metal, and my team's pretty weakened. So, at this point, you know, Heat Train comes out. I believe I go for Roost here, just fine. And thankfully, Mandibuzz has a great speed tier. So I am able to outspeed this, even though speed investment, and kill it. Cool. We're technically even in the trade war right now, right? I go for Chomper just to get rid of it, because I know rocks aren't gonna go down. He goes for T-Punch, which is understandable. I'm like, okay. Now I can Volt Switch right here, get some more damage on that, and I'm coming really close to where I'm like, okay, maybe Circuitry can win here, right? And I'm like, okay, I can win this trade and still be up a mon, and then this happens, and this is really unfortunate. So what would have happened here is I U-turn, and then I go into what would I do? I'd U-turn, I'd go for Volt Switch, I'd go to Volt Switch, or I'd swap into Metal. So it depends on what he sends out after I Volt Switch on this, right? Or Volt Switch on one of these two. It's a tough call. But yeah, I mean, the game could have still been played out because I would have been at least one mon ahead and had this sack and play around stuff. So this is unfortunate. Me and Green actually talked about this, and I don't think we ever came to an actual conclusion on what would have happened afterwards. I was just like doing some calcs and we were talking about it, but you know, we had to talk after the game about it. And I'm like, okay, I just need to kill this now. There's nothing else I can do. Turns out that was also Scarf Latios, which is why he clicks Ice Beam here again. He goes for CC, and there's not much I can do here. I go into my Circuitry, and I go for Dazzling Gleam because it's my highest highest power move. And even with +1, this does 86 damage max, so I would have to, 1, win a speed tie, which is possible because we are both Scarf, and 2, I would need a crit. So the odds are not in my favor in this position, and I don't even get the speed tie win here. So that's a GG. Well played, Agreed. That was a very close match. I'm like, Green and I were talking about it. I'm like, yeah, I made 2 crucial misplays right there. I could have killed Urshifu earlier if I had just realized what set it was, and then he also didn't like some of the plays that he was doing. But overall, it was a pretty good game. I enjoyed it, and I felt tested, and that's what's important, right? This was sort of like a honorary match. It's like, oh, can I bring him down to 6-1 status alongside me, or is he gonna stay undefeated? So it had like that sort of tension between it, but between both of us, we kind of already knew what positions we were in, so we weren't too stressed about it. But you know, still played for our best. Best to our abilities, right? Anyways, I will see you guys in playoffs, and thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check out his channel. He's a pretty good battler. He went undefeated in like the whole weekly thing. So, yeah, pretty good battler. He deserves it. Anyways, deuces.